Welcome back to Fantasy Football by Committee, powered by Flurry Sports. It can be tough to win a fantasy league on your own, but at FFBC, we will work together to bring home the hardware. Hosted by Zach Bruner and the rest of the Flurry Sports crew, we will give top-level analysis, answer your questions, and, well, go off on other tangents.
That was after I tried to get ChatGPT to admit that 9/11 was an inside job, but it stood firm. It gave quite a few solid points that it was true.
Welcome to Fantasy Football by Committee. The show starts in 3, 2, 1.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to Flurry Sports, Fantasy Football by Committee, and the start of a new NFL week. Should be a good one. We got a good game tonight. We got Commanders and Packers. Should definitely be interesting. Projected high total with everyone betting the under. So is everyone a doofus and we're going to see a shootout? Or are the books somehow extremely wrong and the public is right? Usually that is not the case. So will we see the under? Will we see a lot of field goals? What will we see? I'm not 100% for sure. But I think it's going to be interesting. We can talk specifically about the game. We can talk about the week as a whole, or we can talk about damn near anything you want. This is the Start Sit show by myself tonight, Zach Bruner. And let's start by just going over some of the resources, some of the stuff you have available to you, shall we? So let me share my screen. And if you have any questions along the way, by all means, ask away and we will put everything to a halt to answer your questions. You see me? We got this. Where am I? Don't want to. I'll pop in. I'll pop in over here. Don't worry about me. Ooh, don't want that. Do not want that. Okay, so flurrysports.org. I recommend going over here. This is where all of my work will be. This is where we got a bunch of other work from other writers as well. So flurrysports.org. If you want my rankings, simply go to the rankings here. We have it broken down by positions. If you want little insights, I got little things like, for example, just the quarterback rankings here, but then you got stuff like Dak Prescott's 13-2 against the Giants in his career. It is a Joe Flacco revenge game. Only time he played against him in the past, 309 yards. Drake May, obviously, Patriots passed at a 73.5 rate last week, which is insane, second highest in the league. Dolphins allowed a 76% completion rate to Daniel Jones. Does that mean two positives make a super positive? You know, we got little insights like that if you want just position rankings. We got IDP rankings, something new I am doing this year, and I am happy to say week 1 we're ranked number 3 overall. So far, the experiment is going well. It's not a crash and burn sort of situation. We got good IDP rankings here, broken down by linebackers, defensive line, and defensive back. So go ahead and give that a look if you're in IDP leagues. If you are in or playing some daily fantasy that involves IDP, if you want to play player props, whether it be on a fantasy site, whether it be on a sports book, I think these IDP rankings are very useful for that as well. But if you want the OG, the good, the overall week 2 rankings, by all means, just click them, scroll down, and we got you covered. I will say a little bit of a troubleshooting thing. If you have the site in dark mode, hard to see, right? Just flip it over to light mode. Bada bing, bada boom, away you go. But you got everything over here except for IDP. So again, if you want IDP, go ahead and check out that right there. We got other fantasy football stuff though. I wrote 4 start sit articles that came out today. The highlighted players, Drake May, Javonte Williams, DK Metcalf, and Mark Andrews. However, there are 4 players in each position, so definitely go give those a read as well. Luke came out with his NFL Survivor picks. That's over in the NFL tab. We got streamers for this week. So if you are hurting, if you have a George Kittle situation, you're trying to look for a tight end, maybe look at these tight ends to stream. We got pickups, we got waivers, we got a little bit of analysis on Caleb Johnson. Is it time to cut ties with Caleb Johnson already? Potentially. So definitely go over to flurrysports.org and read all that stuff. It'll definitely be good stuff for your fantasy week. You can trust that. But if you guys got any questions, go ahead and ask away. Otherwise, we'll just talk about anything. One thing that are not included in my rankings that you saw, we do not have flex rankings. So a lot of those flex questions, ask them on the stream. Or if you want to become a member, join the membership. $5 a month, one coffee per month. Can you give up one coffee per month, or at least give me a coffee per month, people? Please. And you can join the membership, and that gets you access to a group chat with me over on Twitter or on Blue Sky if you would prefer that. But you can ask questions whenever about whatever, answer each other's questions. So it's not just to me, with other people in the community as well. That's super important. But you also get access to in-season stats and tools. Those start this week. I didn't want to do a 1 week sample size that seemed foolish, that felt misleading for people. I didn't want to say, oh my God, this person's got this target rate. This person's got this for advanced analytics. When we have a 1 game sample size, I think that would be foolish. That felt like wasted time, wasted effort, and potentially dangerous for misleading. So after a 2 week sample size, though, boom, we just doubled it. So now we can get a bunch of stats, tools, analysis out to you. And if you want to become a member, you get that for free. So if you don't want to become a member, you can buy that for $10 for the rest of the season. Otherwise, 1 coffee per month, and you get access to that. You can ask for other things. If there's other things in the membership that you think would be really good for helping you win a league, by all means ask, and you will probably be gifted with that. Whatever you want in this membership, I want to help you win your fantasy league, essentially. I want this to be the best membership on the market. You already have essentially the best rankings, in my opinion, on the market. If you look at Fantasy Pros last year, I finished 6th, but looking at those categories, I would say I was best. I'm not sure how you couldn't say that. Is what it is. You can go look. Otherwise, I got your back in the stream as well. If you don't want to give up 1 coffee per month, no worries. Give the stream a like. Give me a subscribe here. Do whatever you want to do. But if you do want to become a member, again, that QR code, scan that on the screen in the description. It should be there as well. Otherwise, it's buymeacoffee.com/Zach Bruner. You can spell my name right there, is on the screen. ZachBrunner. What's up? Kyle is in the chat on Twitter. PPR, flex. JCM, Booty, Pacheco. Didn't win the Hollywood sweepstakes. Sounds like that might not be the worst thing. Worthy's practicing today. I don't know if that means he's going to go or not. Again, I like Hollywood regardless for the next 5 weeks anyway, but not a big deal. I'm saying no for Pacheco for sure. Booty's already banged up, so I think he goes, but at this point, why risk it? I think I would go JCM. You're kind of hoping for a touchdown. I don't think he's going to do much catching the football. But I think he has a decent chance to score. If the over-under is correct, if the sports books are correct, and they almost always are, I think we're going to see some scores. I think the Packers' run defense is worse than what they showed last week. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. You get a mobile quarterback in there, a lot of running lanes open up. So I think JCM could have a decent little game today. Speaking of him, JCM, Bill Krosky-Merritt, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, the man with endless names. Should he start for ice cold OG Jones, sick name, or Shakir, Quentin Johnston, or Reed in the flex? Reed's too risky given his snap count and just the overall Packers offense, how they do things. So I would say not him. If he has another good game today, I almost would be looking to flip Jaden Reed. Otherwise, Merritt, Johnston, Shakir. I feel like everyone's so low on Johnston for whatever reason. If his role last week was legit, he should be really good against the Raiders. Shakir is high floor, low ceiling. So if you just need steady 5 points, or it's going to be more than 5, if you need a steady 6 to 10 points, go with Shakir. Otherwise, I think I would go with Johnston. I have a feeling. I feel like, I mean, I know the Raiders stink. It could be Quentin Johnston versus Eric Stokes. If that's the case, give me Johnston. Eric Stokes stinks. So I think I would go him. You're essentially betting, I said this for somebody else on Twitter as well, with Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, when you're comparing him with other good players like this who are healthy, you're kind of just asking yourself, will he score a touchdown tonight or not? I think it's 50-50. So at that point, I think I would go with Johnson, who also very clearly can score. We saw that last week. And what's up, Luke? Luke's boots on the ground Thursday Night Football in Lambeau Field. So if there's any mischief, anything happening, snoop around, see what's going on. What's up, Cam Daddy? I almost say Cat Daddy every time I see it. Always grinding. Week 2 is interesting because that's coincidentally the number of hours of sleep I got last night. But there's a lot of content on flurrysports.org for you as a trade-off. Appreciate the sub, by the way. Everyone, if you can sub, if you can like this after the stream, if you want to comment anything random, favorite thing from the stream, your favorite cereal, do not care. Any sort of comments definitely help out. Anyways, I need to know Scary Terry or Hollywood Brown, 10-man, half PPR. I think the Packers can somewhat easily stop McLaurin. He's the deep ball guy, right? I know Washington wants to get him involved after not being involved last week, but if the Packers just put a bump and run corner on him and then roll the safety over the top, I feel like they can contain him pretty well. So that scares me on him. With Hollywood, Xavier Worthy's practicing now, and it's not an easy matchup with Philadelphia on top of it. We saw what they did to him in the Super Bowl. I think I would go McLaurin because it takes one play. It takes one play. And if the Packers don't get home on Jaden Daniels, the Packers' cornerback room is the worst in the NFL. So he has a chance to absolutely destroy the Packers. If the Packers run their defense as they should, and just roll the safety over the top and just play safe, just take him away, they should be able to limit him. But I do not trust Green Bay as a Packer fan. So I would go him. Again, one play. You're hoping for one broken play, and I think that can happen. Should I drop Diggs for Booty? No, I would not do that. I would assume they had relatively the same amount of snaps. Booty definitely out-snapped him, and he outperformed him in week 1, right? That should be the minimum number of snaps that Diggs gets. He's coming back from injury. To me, we just saw Diggs' floor game for all intents and purposes. Yes, it was against the Raiders. Yes, the Patriots just had the second highest pass rate in the league. Is that sustainable? I can't imagine it is. But I think Diggs can become a pretty good option this year. If Drake May is competent, which I think he is, if the Patriots offense can be pretty good, which I think it could, Diggs is the best receiver there. Like, that's not even a question. This is such a Chris Rodriguez touchdown game. I am watching this news to see if he is a healthy scratch again, because I have the exact same feeling. Let me double check that again right now, because if he's active, I don't hate that, to be completely honest. Do we know anything yet? We know the Packers are missing their 2 starting offensive linemen, Zach Tom, Aaron Banks. Not a surprise. Brock Bowers officially did not practice today. If you are a Brock Bowers owner, for the love of God, pick up Michael Mayer, considering that's a Monday game. And Michael Mayer is great if Brock Bowers does not go. So definitely do that. I'm just looking at Underdog. They usually aggregate this stuff pretty well. The goal is to play Micah Parsons over 50% of the snaps today, is what Ian Rappaport says. That is not a report. I can't. I think the Packers' goal, if everything works out perfectly, Micah Parsons plays every single snap and has 18 pick sixes. Is that a report? Because that's the same exact thing that Rappaport just did. But yeah, Micah's going to play about the same number of snaps he just did. Cool. What a report. Tell you what, though, if the Packers are down, Micah's going to play less. If the Packers are up, Micah's going to play more. So again, it does not matter. But that report does not mean a single thing. This means something, though. Von Miller being number 24. What's that mean? That is scary. That is weird. That is unnatural. Most people don't even know Von Miller's on the Commanders, which tells me we're going to see a strip sack tonight from Von Miller. Clip this once that happens. It just feels natural. Gary starting Penix in his super flex. I'll buy you a coffee to tell me everything's going to be all right. I think it's going to be all right. Sounds like Drake London's playing, which is interesting. I was going to say insane. It's not insane. It's interesting after I think technically they're just calling it a shoulder sprain. I love Michael Penix. I'm a big Michael Penix guy. Won me a college fantasy football championship. Huge fan of him. How will he respond to the pressure that Flores is going to throw at him? I'll say this. He's going to respond better, in my opinion, than Caleb Williams. He also has decent receivers to throw to. We'll see if Darnell Mooney plays. I'm not sure if Mooney will play. Drake London's going to play. He's got, obviously, Bijan, which is a great blitz beater. He's got Kyle Pitts, who I don't love, but he is more than athletic enough to make some plays in the middle of the defense. I think Ray McLeod is good. Casey Washington or whatever played a decent number of snaps. I think it's going to be okay. Do I think Penix is going to be a top 10 quarterback again? I think he was number 10 last week. I don't think that, but I would put him, I mean, where do I have him ranked? I guess that's sort of my job. I could tell you right now. I have him at 20. It's super flex. You're good. It's not the worst. Baxter, welcome back. Thoughts on Worthy? Seems like the dislocation injury wasn't too bad, seeing he's practicing. Think he can return to closest pre-injury level soon. I mean, what was his pre-injury level? It was 2 snaps, and he didn't catch anything. But yeah, everyone seems super confused by this. I don't know why anyone's confused. The fact that he's practicing means almost absolutely nothing. It's a dislocation. All the fact that he didn't go on IR and there's no surgery tells me nothing's really torn. It could be partially torn, but nothing fully torn. That's good. He's going to be in a brace just to limit that's whatever motion it was where it came out. Kelsey ran into him, so I assume it came out backwards, right? So he just can't take shoulder-to-shoulder contact that goes back that way. That's what that means. It's just going to be a pain threshold thing, is what it is. So his catch radius is going to be limited. That's fine. Andy Reid's really good at getting his speedsters in space to get out of bounds, just avoid contact. So that's fine. I don't know if he'll play this week. He'll probably play next week, would be my guess. Why rush him back in a game that's going to be super physical, in my personal opinion, especially against an NFC opponent? So I think the Chiefs probably play without him. But the fact that he's practicing today, again, what does that mean? Is he running all the drills? Good. Great. Glad his legs are working. Is he catching passes? Is he running routes on air? The fact he's practicing means absolutely nothing. He could have practiced the next day. It's a shoulder dislocation. He's not dead. So super misleading news story. We truly don't know what that means. But, you know, can he return to, I think I said Monday even, that I think he's going to come back soon and he can be a 5 to 7 catch guy pretty quickly. Which would be about what he did last year, right? So I think you're good. I think you're good to go. Trey Tucker, Tyler Higbee, Luther Burden, Trey Harris. Am I picking one, Luke? Are you going to force me to pick one? Boy, if I'm picking one, it's Trey Tucker, and I hate it, but that's what that is. Eldo. Pick 2, Hollywood, Harvey, Debo, Ridley, half PPR. Taking Ridley out. Not going to be him. I would go Debo tonight. And then if Worthy's out, I think I would still go Hollywood. If Worthy is in somehow, I think I would go Harvey. Broncos have Colts. That sounds correct to me. It's the Colts. Yep. I think it's a better Dobbins game than it is a Harvey game. But I don't have a ton of respect for that Colts pass rush, which would benefit Harvey. Debo tonight for sure. Lock him in. You got to lock him in quickly. So I think I would decide on Hollywood versus Harvey later in the week, but I'm leaning Hollywood still, given it's half PPR. How would you play Golden tonight? Or I don't know why I even said how. Would I play Golden over Pearsall or Tillman? No. I fear Golden is going to be so inconsistent that you can't play him with confidence this entire season. But regardless, you kind of need to see it first. He was limited in his snaps already in week 1 for some reason. He was the only healthy pass catcher, and he was still limited, so that's cool. So, his role is going to be super inconsistent. It is what it is. I know Pearsall and Tillman are arguably the number 1 options in their offense, so I like both of them a lot more. Pearsall should get plenty of easy throws by Mac Jones. Tillman's going to see a ton in a positive game script for him, so I like both of them. Actually, decent amount. Good questions, though. Got more people in here right now. Again, go over to flurrysports.org. We got my rankings over there. We got start sit. We got Luke's survivor pick. I can show it to y'all once again. So yeah, head over to flurrysports.org. All kinds of good stuff here. If you want my rankings, simply go here. I have IDP rankings, finished number 3 overall last week. So 1 week into making IDP rankings, and we're already top 3 coming for that top spot. I got them broken down, quarterback through tight end, in positional rankings if you'd rather do it just by position, and in these individual positions as well. If you scroll down, we got these little nuggets here about certain players. I accidentally clicked that. We also got this notable snap count article, I guess, that I did. If you want all the snap counts and tidbits from all of the games last week as well. Certainly a useful article, but we got stuff like Mark Andrews has dominated the Browns, 11 touchdowns in 14 games, 4 touchdowns in the last 4 games. Little nuggets like that. Colston Loveland outsnapped by Cole Kmet. All kinds of stuff. Or if you just want the straight up OG rankings, head over here. Quarterback through kicker, half PPR and PPR. Go ahead and check those out. We got start sit articles. I wrote 4 of those for today. 4 players in each of them. Highlighted players are Drake May, Javonte Williams, DK Metcalf, and Mark Andrews. So all kinds of good stuff here. 2 players to start, 2 players to sit. Are they must start, must sit? Absolutely not. We were talking about the players in that gray area. However, DK Metcalf in a revenge game, hard to turn down. If you want a survivor pick, Luke is doing NFL Survivor. He's got the 49ers this week. He's got the 49ers, or a little video here, Flurry Sports YouTube channel. If you don't want to read, if you can't read, doesn't matter. We got a video for you if you want to do that, or you can read his reasonings here. So go and read why Luke is risking it with Mac Jones and the San Francisco 49ers this week. Tyrone Tracy or George Pickens, half PPR. George Pickens. Brian Daboll refuses to use the former wide receiver turned running back as a receiver. Tell me why that makes sense. Tyrone Tracy should be catching between 7 and 10 passes per game in this offense. No reason why he shouldn't. And he's going to average probably 2 catches. Until he's actually used correctly, you can't even trust him. And the Cowboys kind of just limited Saquon Barkley. Then they had a long week. So I can only imagine they can do the same against Tyrone Tracy and the Giants. Whereas George Pickens, Just takes one play, and it's the Giants. If the Giants don't get home, I think the Cowboys' offensive line is pretty good. If the Giants don't get home, George Pickens is going to be bolting down the sideline. CD Lamb's going to be running across the field. I think it could be a pretty damn good day for the Cowboys offense here. Statement game, potentially. Potentially. Any other start sit questions? Anything else you guys are just wanting to know, wanting to hear? Luke, I assume no rain there. That would be, I saw it was cloudy there earlier in Green Bay today. Let me know if there's any rain, anything like that, because that could change some picks. That could change some, not just rankings, but overall underdog picks, player props, stuff like that. That would be very interesting. And that would lead to the under potentially. No new news. We should know if Chris Rodriguez is active or not, though. Let's see if I can find out. Chris Rodriguez officially not active. So no Chris Rodriguez touchdown, unfortunately. That's good for Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, though, for all of the questions with him that everybody has. I was offered in a league a trade, and it kind of, and Luke said it's cloudy, not bad, no rain. So that's good. Kind of puzzled me. I have Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. I also have Zach Charbonnet on my bench. I was offered Ken Walker and Jameson Williams in a PPR league for Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. And I think I have to accept it. I think I have to accept that trade. I'm going to do the scummy thing and watch some of the game first, and then I'll make my decision. But, yeah, I think you have to accept that. I don't know if you're selling high on Ja'Cory Krosky. I think he's a player who's going to be pretty good the rest of the year. Now, somebody like Dylan Sampson, I think his role is pretty much locked in as a receiver, but as a runner, maybe not. Quinshon Judkins practiced in full today. Judkins could play this week. Sounds like he is going to play this week. It's against the Ravens, so I don't love him, but that limits Sampson. So if you have Dylan Sampson on your bench and you can sell him at the value of where he performed last week or close to that, I think you should pull the trigger there. I think sell high, a nice early season trade to maybe set yourself up down the road. I think that would be okay. Again, Sampson, not a must sell, but I think you could get some good value for him if you find the right person. You know, maybe it's the Judkins owner. Maybe it's the person who, you know, is really, really hurting with Ken Walker, or maybe they were relying on Joe Mixon because you drafted early. Who knows? Attack the people who are struggling. Some people are very much overreacting and just need to make a trade. So take advantage of that. I am just checking my rankings really quick, checking to see if all my defensive players are playing. I think they are. I don't think anyone would be out on Washington. I know Green Bay is good. Cool. We should be good to go there. So all rankings are updated. Today I just updated the Thursday guys and a couple from other teams, so not a ton. IDP is good, but in terms of like tight ends and stuff like that, I think I might still have Goddard ranked. Yeah, I have Goddard at 14. He didn't practice today. Sounds like he is trending in the wrong direction. So if you have Dallas Goddard as your starting tight end, make plans. Worst case scenario, pick up a Grant Calcaterra or something like that. Henry's thinking, I assume, got to take that trade. I think so. I think people are really overreacting on Ken Walker. I don't really get it. The Seahawks were limited in the number of plays they played last week, and in terms of like snap per touch, I think he touched the ball on like almost 70% of the snaps he played. So if his snaps go up, which they should, it's going to be a lot of touches. Ken Walker just needs one play and he breaks it, So I do think I need to make that trade. Again, though, I'm watching tonight because first quarter, second quarter, if Ja'Cory Krosky doesn't do much, maybe I accept the trade. If he goes off, if he has another 40-plus yard run in the first quarter tonight, then I'm squeezing this guy. Then I'm saying I don't want Jameson Williams. I want somebody else. I offered for McMillan. I tried to do it for McMillan earlier, and they declined it. They value Jameson Williams that much lower than McMillan, I guess. I guess I kind of do too, because that's why I wanted the trade. But if JCM has a good first quarter, good first half, then I think I could probably get it. Luke needs to drop somebody. He's got Najee, Chubb, or Goddard to pick up a healthy tight end. I'm not dropping Chubb. I would either drop Najee or Goddard. It depends on the tight ends that are available. Like, if you have a bunch of good tight ends available, I don't fear risking Goddard. Like, you probably could pick him back up regardless. But if not, if there really isn't a downgrade, then go ahead. Otherwise, Najee's not very good at football, so feel free to drop him. He is going to get a much bigger role. His role will continue to grow week by week here as he gets integrated into the offense that people forget, was not in last year, was not in the preseason, was not in training camp. So he's the newbie, not the rookie. So as weeks go by, Najee will get a little bit bigger of a role. But how big? Probably not huge, just because he's not good. So Packers are plus 19 in turnover margin on a short week since 2019, highest in the NFL in that time. That's a baseball stat, which means it means nothing, but I do appreciate it. On a short week, what's that mean? Like our Saturday game's a short week. If they played on Monday and then they play Sunday the next week, is that a short week? Speaking of Ken Walker, him or Olave at the flex. I'm so out on Olave. I would go Ken Walker. I have Olave in my wide receiver 3 spot in, I think it's a 14-team league, and I'm desperately trying to convince myself to take him out. I think the Niners defense is pretty good, but regardless, he went to the medical tent twice last week. He went twice. Week 1. He came back. He played. That's great. But damn, man. Like, I don't trust Rattler. I don't trust the Saints offense. I don't trust Chris Olave to stay on the field. So, yeah, I would still go Ken Walker, even though it's against the Steelers. But yeah, we'll see. I didn't pre-read this. It's a compliment, but I do appreciate it. For anyone that is not aware, Zach has an incredible winning rate in Fantasy Pros compared to the other experts. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm curious, what things have you found that differentiate you from others? I know football. I'm not a stats nerd. I'm not someone who's looking at the numbers or the box score, like just trying to analyze the game from that way. I basically create a game plan. I look at defenses. I look at matchups. And I would say, hey, what would this team do to beat this other team? What would this other team do to stop that offense? And I basically just do football IQ. Which makes it hard for content because some people, when they look at like, okay, there's actually a proof of concept here, like he actually ranks good, then they'll start listening. However, before that, there's a hurdle to exceed because I'm not citing stats like every other nerd that does fantasy football. It's like, oh, this person's got a blah, blah, blah catch rate and da, 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 da. I don't do that. I just say this guy's going to be good because he's going to beat this guy. and everyone just thinks it's not good analysis, but then it happens and then you're good to go. So I have been around football a long time. I've coached players that have played in the NFL, D1. I helped out on the UMD staff for a while. I've coached semi-pro. I've coached high school. Been around everywhere. I got the medical background doing sports training, being certified in that in college as well. So, and I know the business, and people don't want to believe it. There's a lot of business that goes into how people perform and the opportunities they're given in the NFL week by week. So knowing how the business works behind the scenes, truthfully, helps a lot for projecting what's going to happen on the field as well. So a lot of stuff going on. I feel like I have a unique voice, and it helps out. Henry's excited to see what the baby lobster does with Mac Jones. Who's the baby lobster? Is that Shanahan? I honestly don't even know. The quarterback he allegedly wanted. Oh, yeah, it must be Shanahan. It's not alleged, by the way. He pouted, fucking pissed and moaned the entire time. He wanted Mac Jones. I can't think of his name. GM. Why can't I think of his name? He's the man. John Lynch. John Lynch wanted Trey Lance. After Shanahan didn't get his way, he forced Trey Lance to play an offense that did not suit him. He forced Trey Lance to be a pocket passer, to play the Jimmy Garoppolo, Mac Jones offense, completely sabotaging his entire fucking career. And then now, whoop-de-doo, now he gets Mac Jones. Now tell me this. If he does exactly what he wanted to do with Mac Jones in the first place, and Mac Jones plays well, which I think he probably will, do they go back to Brock Purdy? I don't know if they do. I think there's a real possibility if Brock Purdy or if Mac Jones and the 49ers go on a run here, there's a real possibility they stick with the hot hand. And that is super interesting to me. I think, percent of chance, what's the percent of chance that happens? 15% maybe. But I do think there's a chance, and that's super fun to watch. Do I like Tet or Coleman more this week? Almost definitely Tet. Let me tell you the rankings. I need to see Coleman do it twice, and I don't love the matchup with the Jets. McMillan, I have at 23. Coleman, I have at 44. Very big difference. And the knock against McMillan, and it's a real one, it's that he has a doofus throwing him the football. Bryce Young's not very good. I think McMillan's legit. I think he's the real deal. So I have no questions about McMillan. All the questions in the world about Bryce Young. We shall see what happens. Luke wishes Malik Willis is playing because he looks so fast and all these whites and warm-ups. Oh, it's all white. That's the worst, man. That's the worst. I wish Malik Willis was the starting quarterback of the Packers as well. Wish he was playing tonight. Packers would have a better chance to win. The all whites in prime time is such a fucking rude move for the offensive line and D line. Man, they already hate wearing all whites. That's a fact. Can't stand it. And then we're going to do it in prime time. Can't do that, man. So rude. And Romeo Dobbs' giant white Guardian cap. Oh, shit. That's true. Just looking like a bobblehead out there. I hate the Guardian cap. He needs to grow up. Get better. Holy shit. Not sure if you guys heard that. Someone's drag racing on my road in the middle of bumfuck Wisconsin. Population of unincorporated, and we're drag racing outside. That was crazy. Anyway, I do wish Malik Willis was the quarterback, though. Why can't we just have some special packages for him? Run the Taysom Hill random shit. Let him come out and carry the ball a little bit, especially in the red zone. I'm so pro having mobile quarterback in the red zone. It's ridiculous. Like if you have that mobile quarterback in the red zone, it opens up the entire field because everything is at the defense's mercy at that point. Like they have to respect the run. You can fake a run, you can throw it. You can go either direction at that point. They have to cover every inch on the field. And it just changes everything about your red zone offense. Saints should run that with Taysom Hill every single time when he's healthy. Packers should run that with Malik Willis. And then in practice, they don't even need to take snaps with the ones. Just do red zone. All they're worried about is red zone. I think that's such a cheat code. It would never happen, right? Because the starting quarterback's the one making all the money and they want those numbers. But if you can do it with a shitty quarterback like Jordan Love anyways, you can say, hey, Jordan, you're no good at football. You're going to be out of here pretty soon. Don't worry about it. Let's just try to get a Super Bowl ring. That's your only chance for a legacy. And maybe they can convince Malik Willis to do that. That'd be good. Any other breaking news? I miss the days of doing NBA DFS streams. And then we do live before lock. We do an hour show like this right before lock for the NBA. And then we talk about the entire thing. We talk about everything. And then 5 to 10 minutes right before lock, everybody's out. I love that type of shit where everyone's like, okay, now we scramble and change absolutely everything we've ever talked about. That's the best part about the NBA. Otherwise, the NBA is possibly the worst league in the world. But the fact that they do not report injuries or anything until last second is the best. Do I have a favorite strip of steak? I assume you mean cut. Bangin' rare sirloin the other day. I think that's it. I mean, I like New York strip, but yeah, I think I would go sirloin, and it's gotta have it rare. Gotta have it rare. Yeah, I assume that would be it. You did it. You perfected it. You already nailed the order. I got a smoker a couple of weeks ago. That's kind of been my thing lately. We've been smoking a lot of shit. Smoked a big pork butt a couple of weeks ago. Smoked some tenderloins, pork tenderloins, some venison. So that's been what's going on in this household. A lot of smoking meats. No news, huh? Come on now. Any questions on Twitter? Some. Do we answer them? So the Browns got cooked by their own tight ends. What? What? I'm not sure what the guy's talking about. Okay. The NBA may suck, but it's so much better than any kind of soccer. Probably right. I haven't watched either in years, so I couldn't really tell you. I at least know NBA players. I know which players exist, and I still play NBA DFS stuff. I just don't need to watch it to know what's going to happen at this point. Soccer, I don't know. I've never gotten to soccer. If the Loons, if Minnesota United is any good, then I'll tune in. But that's about it. And I need someone to tell me if they are good because I'm not tuning in. I will give it another 10 minutes here. If anyone's got anything, let me know. Let's retweet this again. And I realized I was on the other Twitter account, so maybe there are questions here. Otherwise, we can talk about the game, what we think is going to happen, maybe some potentially good underdog picks. Let me tell you this. Austin Eckler, take his receptions, whatever it is. I think it's at 2.5. Packers gave up the third most receptions to running backs last season. They gave up 14 to running backs in week 1. Eckler is going to catch 3 passes. Yes, he's going to catch 3. I think he's probably going to catch 5 or 6. Any rookie running backs having a breakout game this week? Breakout game. Let's see. Let's call it breakout for the season, not for their career, for the sake of conversation. I think Chase Brown could have a really good game against Jacksonville. I understand people are respecting Jacksonville for some reason. I'm not going to do that. I'm I'm not sure why anyone would do that. But yeah, I think Chase Brown probably has a good game. I think Amari and Hampton could have a very solid game against the Raiders. J.K. Dobbins could have a very good game against the Colts. Would not surprise me to see a multi-touchdown game there. David Montgomery is playing his former team in the Bears. Hard to trust him after last week and how that interior of the Detroit offensive line looked. However, I don't doubt David Montgomery's ability in the slightest, so I think he could be good. On the flip side, DeAndre Swift playing his former team, I think that could be a good performance from him. Javonte Williams, he kind of already had his breakout game, right? Week 1. Not huge yardage, but he had that 2-touchdown game. He plays the Giants this week, man. Javonte Williams could be very, very good. Very good. Quinshon Judkins or Kareem Hunt or Jaden Blue need a replacement for Worthy if he doesn't play. Want to start Judkins for the vibes. Well, it's for sure not Blue. If Judkins is healthy and goes, I think you're starting him. Kareem Hunt, I mean, is at best a 50% snap player. And they did bring Hunt in the important plays last week, which means for me, like I might start ranking Hunt above Pacheco if that happens again. But I mean, Judkins has the chance to have a 65% snap rate right away. And he's good. And we saw how the Ravens can get the ball moved against them. So yeah, I think I'd go Judkins if he's officially active. Otherwise, Hunt over Blue. I mean, Blue was a healthy scratch, so can't trust him. And then Schottenheimer definitely roasted him, either late last week or very early this week. How do we feel about Dobbs tonight? Tell you what, Dobbs is the only player who can catch the underthrown Jordan Love deep ball. So I love that. I think that's probably going to happen at some point tonight. Otherwise, I don't think it's going to be a high volume game, but I do think he's my highest ranked Packers receiver, if I am correct. They're all ranked around the same. But I like Romeo Dobbs. He's fine. I'm not starting him in season long if I don't have to. If you're just talking for DFS, I think he's an interesting guy to throw something on. He's cheap. I know that. PPR flex, Coleman or Ricky Pearsall. I'm going to Ricky Pearsall. I don't think the move to Mac Jones is really going to scare me off of any player on that offense. And Pearsall, matchups better. He's a better player. All of the above. Luke's predicting 4 for 41 and a touchdown for Dobbs tonight. Last week was what, like a 2 for like 40-ish thing. So yeah, that's fair. He'll have one play of like 35 plus. Again, it'll be an underthrown deep ball. It depends. Will that be right away? If so, 50-50 shot that he gets hurt on that play, especially with the physical D-backs of Washington. Here, this could be a Dobbs injury game, to be honest. That's not a fun prediction to make, but it's going to happen with the way Jordan Love throws the ball. So watch for that. Touchdown super iffy, but I do love Romeo Dobbs as a player while he's healthy. And he's one to throw his head around, that gigantic head with the garden cap on. So if he's running around out there with a fucking snow globe on his head, it's going to be hard for Jordan Love to miss him. And yeah, let's enjoy some good football. A good game with a lot of playoff implications. Guaranteed we're talking about this game in December. I guarantee it. One of these teams, at least one of them, is going to be fighting for a wild card spot. Possibly both of them fighting for, 2 of those 3 wild card spots. So whoever gets that tiebreaker, I think it could be a very, very big talking point in December. Important game early in the season. It's interesting. Couple of tough games for the Packers right out the gates. Detroit and then Washington. If Packers start 2-0 with a win over Detroit and a win over Washington, got to feel pretty damn good in terms of playoff seeding if the wheels do not fall off. but we shall see. Couple minutes left here. 6:55 we'll hop off. So any final thoughts, any final questions, fire them away. Just checking. Don't think we have any other news. Certainly doesn't seem like it. Someone on Twitter asked, Keon Coleman or Quentin Johnston? I'm going Quentin Johnston. The matchup's not bad. I don't know why we're suddenly just not considering him. Whereas Keon Coleman had a good game. He had a good game. Both of these guys have had like one good game in their careers, right? At this point. I'll take the guy who's not going against Sauce Gardner. I'll take the guy who's potentially going against Eric Stokes versus the guy who's going against Sauce Gardner. I feel like that's a good idea to do. That feels like the right move. But if Keon Coleman, turns it around and has another really good game, maybe we can start to trust him. Packers offensive line to start. This is bad news, everybody. This is bad news. Packers are going to be starting rookie Anthony Belton at right tackle. How long will that last? How many series before Kennard comes in and replaces him? We shall see. Because let me tell you this, Anthony Belton, not very good at football. Luckily, edge rushers for Washington, not that great at football. So if you're going to start him against anybody, maybe this is the week to do so. But rookie on the right side, I think Tucker Kraft's going to have to be there and chip just to slow down that pass rush because Belton cannot move his feet very well. So a little bit of a factor when playing offensive tackle in the fucking NFL. But hey, second round draft pick. Let's see if it pays off. Do you think Green Bay's defense was that good, or the Lions' offense isn't as good as last year? Mix of the two. Packers defense flew the ball super fast. Their cornerback room is potentially the worst in the NFL. So if they don't get pressure, I think they're fucked. Lions passed all over them, had one of the highest passing completion rates last week. Lions didn't really struggle to move the ball in several stretches of the game. So if the Lions didn't just continue to shoot themselves in the foot, and if one of those interceptions for Jordan Love just counts, like the Lions would have been back in that game and would have been very close, I think. So is Packers defense as good as everyone's saying? No. I think they're good. I don't think they're as good as everyone's saying. Lions offense, interior three offensive line really, really, really struggled. And that's something they're going to have to work out. However, they're not going to be as bad. There's just so many moving parts after losing that many coaches. I think they lost 7 coaches on their staff, something like that. A lot of plate spinning that people just aren't used to spinning those plates. So it's going to take a little bit. Lions will get better. I think they are worse than last year on offense, but I think they'll get better. And Packers defense is good. I think their run defense is worse than it was last year, potentially. Tonight, we'll see. Tonight, that Packers run defense could really get tested. So tonight, it's a short week. So more than anything, the game plans, what's happening tonight is almost not on the coaches whatsoever. Slightly, a little bit, but tonight on a short week in a week 2, so very early season, short week, tonight's pretty much players versus players. So I think we will really get to tell what both of these rosters are made of tonight. How do I feel about full PPR McMillan and Hampton? I think Hampton could have a really good game against the Raiders. I feel him pretty good. McMillan, I think he's in the 20s for me for wide receiver. I think he's really good. I have 0 questions about McMillan as a player. 0. I think he's a very good player. I think he potentially is a top 20 receiver in the NFL already. I think he's very good. I think Bryce Young stinks. So that's the issue there. Can the Cardinals get enough pressure on Bryce Young to make him stink even worse? I don't know. I think McMillan's solid. I think he'll be average. Again, I think he's in the 20s for me. But Hampton, I think, is going to score a touchdown. I think that's going to push him over the edge there. Eckler or Mason PPR, I think I would go Mason. However, if you just need a high floor play, it's Eckler because I think he catches 4 or 5 passes tonight. So I would project Eckler to be at something for a line of like, let's call it 25 to 30 rushing yards, 5 catches for like 35 to 40 yards, and maybe he scores a touchdown, but most likely not. So if you need anything you think more than like 10 fantasy points, then I'd go Mason because I think Mason has a decent chance at a touchdown. How do I feel about the Seahawks run game, especially that offensive line? Offensive line is going to get their weaknesses are going to be hidden a little bit more. New zone run blocking scheme under Kubiak, I think that helps quite a bit. Just simplify everything and just get them all using their athleticism a little bit, just moving in the same direction. I think they're going to be good. It's a completely different scheme, though, so it's going to take a few weeks. But give them a month or so. I think the run game can get pretty darn good. I think A.J. Barner is a really good blocker, so I think that helps as well at tight end. And I think they got 2 really good running backs. Zach Charbonnet certainly fits the running scheme better, but, I mean, Walker's the home run guy. He's one of the most talented runners in the NFL. So I think that they're going to get better for sure. They don't have the easiest schedule, I don't think, but I do think they get better. Appreciate everyone in the comments, all the questions, all the good stuff. So definitely, if you're watching on YouTube, give this a like, subscribe, please. We got multiple shows per week. Mondays, I'm usually on in the afternoon, just talking about the week that was, talking about injury updates, stuff like that. Tuesday night, we do our waiver wire show. Wednesday night, we have Lombardi Sweep, which is our show about the Green Bay Packers. Not a fantasy show, but there's fantasy nuggets in there. And then tonight, every single Thursday, hour before Thursday Night Football, leading up to Thursday Night Football, we're talking about start sit, answering your questions, and all that kind of good stuff. So definitely a lot of content for you to digest. Even more over on flurrysports.org. If you want to see anything, comment it in the comments below. Let us know if there's any sorts of videos, live streams, shows, or articles that you want to see. If you want to see it, there's probably other people who do as well. So if you ask, we shall answer. And once again, become a member. You get to join a group chat with me. You get access to all the stats, analytics, and you get, all kinds of good stuff, including next year's draft kit for free. $5 per month. That's 1 coffee per month. Become a member. You can scan the QR code on the screen. If you're on YouTube, there's a link in the description, or you can go to buymeacoffee.com/Zach Bruner. Spelling of my name is on the screen right now. ZachBrunner. Last question here. We got full PPR. Start Ken Walker, Matthew Golden, or Tucker Kraft. Start Ken Walker. I think he's the most reliable of the 3. Tucker Kraft, I can't be talked into starting ever. So if Tucker Kraft is a good game tonight, I promise you will be, it'll benefit you more to trade him. So please do that. Matthew Golden, his role will continue to grow, but week 1, it was certainly limited. We'll see if it's more this week. Can't trust it until you see it. And then Ken Walker, obviously limited role in week 1, but his usage was extremely high for the snaps that he was on the field for. I expect more snaps this week. So if his usage stays the same, I mean, he could actually end up having a decent week. So he is the only one of those 3 players who has guaranteed touches. Take the guaranteed touches. He's also an extremely good player. And that is what I am doing. Enjoy Thursday Night Football tonight. If you have any other questions, comment them in the comments below. You can go to @FantasyFlurry on Twitter as well. Start Tracy Pollard to Jacoby. Start Jacoby and let's go Pollard. Okay. See you guys later.